You want to fight crime? Let's get dangerous.
And yes, it is. It is that time to do a show. And what a show we probably going to have today here, because it is time for us to do another episode of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher. I'm your host, Joe D. McPhee here. And I think everybody's going to get a little bit of something out of this episode here, whether it be to rant and rave and to get grievances out, or just to learn something new and different about a platform. But nevertheless, here, before we get into anything that we're doing here for this episode, we still got to take care of a lot of the business end of stuff, such as telling everybody about the fact that Stupid O'Clock still happens 1 hour into the show. So if we go into the second hour, you could watch Stupid O'Clock. That is followed up by Last Man Standing. That follows up immediately after, about 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here. And then you get a little bit of a respite until Monday for Nicholas Tockard and Nevermind the Furthermore on Mondays. And let's not forget about the all new, all different Comic Book Spectrum here on Thursday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here. And before we get into our next thing here, I'm going to take the chat here. Something was saying it's like, I have oh, you have a general grievance? Okay. So Beanie has a general grievance. As you can see, Beanie and Lils are here. Yep. I was just wondering. It's like, something was being said, and I was like, let me find out what was being said here. But it is that time once again in the week for us to do new comic book pickups for the week here. And it will be live again. So we're going to start out first and foremost here. We got another complete set of Huntress. I believe this is volume 2. Huntress volume 2, the four issue limited series here. So we have another set of that. We're going to put that off to the side. We're actually going to try to put them behind me as we go along here, because that way I know we're ready to put them away here. I got from volume 2, Storm issue number 4. And I believe this is the one that I'm missing, because as soon as I get my other set of books from somebody from Cabot, Arkansas, I believe I will have the full set of volume 2 of Storm here. But this was the one that I believe he didn't have, which was issue 4. So that came in. And then I showed this earlier. I showed this, no, not this one, but this was one of the ones I didn't have, which is Etrigan the Demon, issue number 5. So we got that here. And we got people coming in and saying, yeah, she likes the 4 lightsabers. Yeah, volume 2. Yep. I has those. Yep. Oh, yes. No, maybe so. I probably do. I probably did, because once you told me about it, I was able to track down a full setting and got them here. Then that's followed up by the book that I previewed on Comic Book Spectrum, which was Captain Action #1. And if you missed the conversation that we had about that on Comic Book Spectrum, where were you? And then on top of that, how come you didn't watch the replay on the on this Facebook channel? We had a decent conversation about Captain Action and things that went wrong and why it was a short-lived series here. So that was kind of like one of those things that, you know, spurred a moment type deal. Then we got Challengers of the Unknown 54 and 55. And I don't know why this thing is constantly notifying people and stuff. So that tells me time to turn notifications off again. Because I'm not expecting anybody to message like that. Nope, no more messages, or at least no more notification of messages. So, but there it is, 54, 55. And then we got Return of the New Gods #17. Trying to get the glare out. There we go. Return of the New Gods 17. And then that is going to be followed up by Death of the New Gods. We got Death of the New Gods issue 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8 of the short-lived 8-issue series. Then we got this one Zenoscope book, only because it was an issue 1. It's called Irresistible. So, you know, it was just kind of like, okay, let's see if they could actually make a decent comic book. Then we got Challengers of the Unknown #61, then 63, and then 82, 83, 85. And let's cover some of the comments here. That's like, don't you yell at me, I'm cute. Who's yelling at who? Oh, granny goodness. Giggle with butts. Okay. So we got The Spirit #50. And this one is it is volume 1 of Crossed. This is something that I didn't buy. This was something that I won as a giveaway freebie type deal. I'm not certain if that book is any good here, but at least that was something unique and different. And then we got another complete set of Dakota North, all 5 issues of Dakota North again. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All of them are direct editions here. So I think this would make set number 3 or 4 of Dakota North. I don't think I have a complete newsstand set as of yet, so I don't know about that as a whole here. What you watched Comic Book Spectrum, so that doesn't apply to you. That doesn't apply to you. You watched it, so that doesn't apply to you. That applies to anybody else who didn't watch it. That's why I said if you didn't watch it. If you did, it was like you saw it live as it happened. Therefore, there is no need for you to watch the replay. Then we got Black Panther #2. And then Savage She-Hulk's #3 during the Fall of Hulks here. This was the last issue of that short-lived series, and that was a connecting cover, a 3 connecting cover and everything. And then we got Wonder Girl #1, the second printing came in. And then we got issue number 13, the whatchamacallit, Michael Turner variant for first thing. I can't even think of her name. Kiara. No, that's not Kiara. No. well, you guys know it is the revisiting of the first appearance of Supergirl. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Mr. Clyde Wacky Racer Street. Yep. It happened there. Yep. Ooh, I like Yarrow. Yep. And I like Supergirl. Yep. Now this one beanie is your mom's fault here because this is ghost number 6 here. So I'm slowly but surely trying to get at least enough issues of this where I can actually read it and try to see if I like it or not. And then I got me some GI Joes here, and they're kind of out of order. Well, not too far out of order. We're going to start with the newest one first, which is GI Joe 33, which I didn't have, and then 29, 28, and a 15. And then we have Eon Flux issue 1 of 4. Again, this is my second copy. This one is a little bit better than the one that I actually have here. And then I got Bombshells United issue number 17 here. Get the glare out. There we go. Issue 17. I'm going to tape it down and put it on the pack here. And then we got out of the limited series here, we got Cloak and Dagger issue number 2 of the 4-issue limited series here. And then we got Lois Lane issue 126 here. It's like, oh, Dingle, why are Lois and all these other women flipping out over you? Why? That's my secret Superman. And they're falling for this clown. Superman getting all jealous. And then we got another Adam Hughes 192 from volume 2 for Wonder Woman here. Yeah, first dark Supergirl of Apocalypse. The first time I meet Belle Cherie was when she was dressed as Ghost. I had a girl boner. I was like, I need that Eon got down. Oh, you were missing that Eon Flux. I was like, I'm up here. It's like I think I only have like issue number 1 of that series. It's hard to find that one for some reason. And then we got Marvel 2-in-1 number 44. And then I got 2 copies of this just because I needed to make certain that I have at least 2 from volume 1 of X-Men. This is X-Men 539. So as for right now, at least according to CLZ, I have what they consider is all of volume 1 contiguously without any breaks, even though I was quite certain that I had all of them, but I just haven't found them all in storage where I have them in boxes in order. Like I have like all my volume 1 X-Men in about like 2.5 to 3 short boxes. That's close to over 540 something, 550 something issues. A lot of issues here. And then fourth printing of this one here. Still haven't found the first printing of it, but I'm not going to try to track it down. I'm going to be happy with that and leave it alone here. And here's the book that Beanie is planning to do a Beanie's 5 on me here. This is Wonder Woman 106 here. This is not the oldest Wonder Woman book that I have, but this is one of the newer ones that came in the mail here. And again, like I said, Beanie is planning to do a Beanie's 5. And we got another Starfire number 1. Yeah, this is Starfire, not the same one as Teen Titans here, but this is the prototype that they did of Starfire before we got the Tamaranian one that we actually have now. And then we got another Um, Avengers 227, which is when Monica Rambeau joins the Avengers, the first time that she joins the Avengers, and I believe this is her second appearance in Marvel Comics altogether. Speaking of which, I believe I have one going to CGC soon, so that will happen at C2E2 here. At least I drop it off here, and then here's the one that as Parallax would say is like the super jerkiest cover that is here. And I told her I got it, so I wanted to make sure that she sees it, that I have it in hand. This is Lois Lane 81. Gas, Superman snapped my air host because I won't marry him. He's committing the perfect murder. Bombshells United went 23 to issue 23. I believe so. That one did not go beyond 23. Yeah, Super Jerk. And then, yeah, I need to get a set. I almost got a complete set. I almost got it. I know I'm missing like the later issues here of United. It's like, yeah, I have the animated series and the movies here, and yeah. Boo, that's mine. It's all mine. No, I said second. That's her second appearance in Marvel Comics. That is her first one, which I also have. Yep. I also have that annual. I believe the annual that I have, it came back great. I believe it's it's either 9.2 or 9.4. Yeah, I said that the Avengers 227 is the first time that she joined the Avengers and her second appearance in Marvel Comics. And then we have Wonder Woman 177. This is a much better copy than the one that I have in storage here. And then I finally got one. It is a newsstand. It's a little beat up, but it's still in some decent condition here. It's Marvel Team Us 137. It's the Golden Oldie. Aunt May and Franklin Richards together. The Golden Oldie. Yeah, I know you know. Don't make me release the bean. Oh, you're going to threaten me with Beanie's 5 before they hash their plan to actually infiltrate the vaults and whatnot. My lower grade 177. Speaking of which, I do have a coverless flat. This was given to me for free. A coverless Flash 179. This is that it was one of those mystery type deals about who was the actual Flash and everything here. Yeah, I love that book. And then WhatNot, tell me more. We haven't got there. We haven't got there, Aaron. We haven't got there. We still on comic book pickups for the week here. No, this is just fighting me. Oh, old people's books. It's not as old as you think. This one is from 1968. So this is Nixon time. It's pre-Nixon. It's considered pre-Nixon. And then I'm kind of upset at myself because I kind of hoodwinked myself here. We ended up getting I believe this is volume 5. So volume 5, Storm number 3, number 4, and number 5. And the part that I actually hoodwinked myself on, because it was presented to me as a art book, but it is metal. It is metal. So we got a metal Wonder Woman cover, but it's an actual art book. It's called Welcome to the Gore Noir Cover Complication Book 2. So I'm up here thinking, it's like, okay, so they're doing, a whole bunch of different Wonder Woman type covers, but a little bit more gore and everything. But no, it's characters and images that I have no idea who they are, but they did a Wonder Woman cover, a metal Wonder Woman cover on this one. So this is the safe for work one. And then we got the not so safe for work one. So that's how I got hoodwinked here, because this one, I believe, this one I'm going to show you, this is number 3 of 10 that were made here, and this one is 2 of 10. So I got both of these are like very, very low numbers out of 10 out of 10 that was ever made here. In a way, it's you could consider it kind of like an investment, but it really is not an investment that I would make up under normal circumstances. And we're going to finish up new comic books for the week with some slabs. And it's kind of messed up because one of the slabs that I got is going to be also one of the books that I'm going to send into CGC anyway, which is this one right here, a 9/8 A-Force 1 from the first volume of A-Force 1 from 2015. First appearance of Singularity at a 9/8. And then the second slab actually is a better graded version of the CBCS slab of the one that I got, and it is the alternate cover of Naomi 1 from season 1, Naomi number 1 in the variant cover. Now I have a 9/8 of that. So there it is. That is new comic book pickups for the week here. And like I said, we're still waiting for a shipment from Cabot, Arkansas, and that's going to be another major to do here. So let's cover some of the other comments here before we get into the crux of the matter here. So we got, hi, AA Ron, and then what's up, PS? And then it's like, yeah, I'm here with Fran, Beanie, and Lils. Beanie is having a blast. She bought one D books. I was going to get to that in a second here, because we got to talk about WhatNot sales and everything. So that's what she's talking about right here. It's all packed up and ready to go. And no, you don't get doxed. So that's right here, all ready to go. I just have to get some time to go to the post office for them to scan it and send it on their way. Oh, so yeah, Era's going to send me some stuff here. So that's going to be hopefully here soon for next week, comic book pickups for the week here. I want a package, please. Yep. And then it's like Squirt Gun has made a small but powerful enemy. Yeah, Unky Joe gave me my first slabby. Yep, I did. However, we don't need to belabor on that story, because Unky Eyeball might pop up and that would make him mad again. Yeah, she has everything, and it's like she has it on her wall in a UV protected. Yep, you have to have it in the UV protected. Yep, no slash for me yet. Yeah, but the general population of YouTube don't need to know that. Okay, I'll check my Instagram later. I'll check my Instagram later for that. It gets fake bad. Well, he wasn't there to see. He wasn't there to understand the situation, but it was the right thing to do because of the situation that had happened. So since we got through this and we talked about, we had a WhatNot sale, it went okay and everything, I do want to make mention of a couple of things before we get into our topic, and I hopefully We have everybody that's there in Parallax's Spectrus camp that could chime in on it. I'm not certain if Aaron has actually shopped on whatnot as of yet, but we want to do air some things out and talk about some things that I believe if you are thinking about using the whatnot app either as a seller or buying stuff off of, you might want to listen in and pick up a couple of tips or two and some of the horror stories that had happened. And being that I'm, originally I was just nothing more than a buyer, but since I've been a seller, oh my goodness, I have heard some very messed up horror stories, very messed up horror stories. But it is what it is here. Yep. Okay. Yep. He said no whatnot shopping. I can understand that as a whole here. But accountability for this week. Primetime Saturday night number 5 is at the printers. We are on schedule to have it to release at C2E2 in 2 weeks. It should be here the week of C2E2. The estimated delivery date holds true, April 7th, April 8th is when I have it on hand here. And that's going to be the great thing about it. The next thing the other thing here is between now and then, I'm trying to figure out ways to deal with the digital aspect of it. I need to get it on Comixology, Global Comics, as well as our website. And I'm thinking I'm going to do the company website first, because if I put it elsewhere on the other two sites, I won't be getting full value when people buy it. So it's just one of those things. It's like, maybe it's like that game plan of making the most of from what you produce here. And I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that question. I'm going to get to that topic here. There's a reason why I don't do that. It is a major reason why I don't do that, Aaron. But I'll talk about that in a second here. So we have that, and that's what I was trying to. And speaking of which, Elaine is actually here. So I was telling Elaine I had a contingency plan if we wasn't able to get the books in time. The contingency plan was, instead of having the physical books there, we could still sell the digital through the website. And I could have something set up like a tablet or something like that where people could get that issue delivered directly to like their emails and all the other stuff from our website that way. But we don't have to worry about that. We got everything in time. And believe it or not, we will have at least 5 copies that will be made available. So far, I'm guaranteeing 5 of the foil version. There is a foil version of issue 5 from Primetime Saturday night. So I'm guaranteeing at least 5 will be made available here. And like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I have to try to get to CGC and everything, because I'm trying to get people to buy graded copies of the books as well here. So with that being stated, and we got covered the accountability, it's that time to say what grinds my gears. And this time we're bringing up whatnot sellers and whatnot buyers. But before we get into that, I want to address the comment that Aaron made here. It's like, do claim sales on YouTube? The reason why I don't do claim sales on YouTube is because I don't have a following like that. Plus, I am not doing this as a comic book store. Everything that I sell comes directly from my own personal collection. I don't go out and buy other people's collections. I don't go out and beseech people to give me books. Everything is 100% out of the 10,000 plus comics I own. So there's a lot of times that people come up here and it's like, hey, Do you have Invincible? I don't collect Invincible all that much. I might have maybe a copy or two of, Image First for Invincible 1 and stuff to that magnitude, or like a fifth or sixth print of Invincible #1 if you want that. But no, I don't really collect that. Oh, what about Something to Kill the Children? Don't really collect that. I could only help based upon what I actually collect and what I'm willing to release back to the public as far as my own personal collection is concerned here. And on top of that, like I said, I don't really have a following out here on YouTube where it would be beneficial time wise to sit out here for 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours doing a claim sale. Because a lot of times you have to understand that, at least with platforms like WhatNot, people flow in and out. And it depends on if they see something right there immediately on the screen that catches their attention as far as the books that's on display, they would stay and ask a question here, as opposed to doing like a claim sale and having it recorded, and then 2 or 3 weeks later it's like, well, I saw that you had X, Y, and Z book available. I could give you X, Y, I could give you this, and then that book has already been sold, and this, that, and the other. It's just 10 times easier just for me to deal with that platform, give up the little bit of commission that I give up for the sale itself, and build a audience there that knows what I truly collect and knows that I can help them build on those titles that I actually do collect pretty quickly. And if you don't believe me, ask Beanie. Beanie knows, like, things like Wonder Woman and She-Hulk. It's like, if it's available and I had extras of it, sure, I don't have a problem with it. And let's see. It's like Beanie ran away and got money from her piggy bank and handed it to me and said, "Buy me Uncle Joe's book." I'm like, it's like he doesn't have it yet. And everybody's greeting one another here. It's like, yeah, I just going to list the Amazon link. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. I have covers ABC, Something's Killing the Children 1. I paid cover price when they dropped. And with Something to Killing the Children #1, I think I have like the 7th or 8th printing of it. And the book did not impress me. It did not impress me. And then, like I said, with something, what made me turn sour on Something's Killing the Children, my first issue that I ever read was like issue 16. So I was like in the middle of the story that they was telling and everything. And it's like, okay, I get it. I kind of get what they were trying to investigate here. It's kind of weird that it's happening to the kids and everything, but the inner struggle with the house is just like, okay, why is this getting intermingled with the actual problem that they're there to solve here? That doesn't make any sense to me. And then you get into issue 17, and it's more of the same about, okay, we only get so much about what's actually happening to the kids, but yet that inner struggle with Jessica Slaughter and all the other stuff is overshadowing the point that they're trying to solve what's really happening there. It just, to me, it's just like, okay, you might as well call it something else. Well, if you change your mind, I will help promote you. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not in the actual comic book sales or whatnot to sell sell books out of my collection. The whole purpose is to go there, build up a following, and then really concentrate more on the books that we produce here at CGC Studios here. And if you've ever been in one of those shows, I always either talk about my books at the very beginning or at the very end, or both beginning and end. Like this past show, I talked about the books beginning and end because this was the first show before C2E2. So I made people aware that, yeah, we're going to be at C2E2. These are the books, that you're going to be able to see and get from us at our booth here. this is what you could expect coming after. And I'm not certain if we're going to have a actual live show there. You know, we could actually do broadcasting there if need be. But I'm not certain if I'm going to do that or not, do that live or not. But it is what it is here. I have. See, you missed him. You missed him. I have. I've been on his show. See, you're behind the times. You're behind the times. Yep. Yeah. P.S. I have collected the first year or so of Something Killing the Children when it came out. Yep. Yeah, I have the 8th print too. Yep. The issue is really good, Beanie. I totally enjoyed it. Yeah, it's like I need it, mommy. I enjoyed I enjoyed the first storyline. See that I guess that's probably where I messed up at, because by issue 16 you probably got out of the first storyline. But I feel that Something's Killing the Children is so, wash, rinse, and repeat that it just didn't catch my attention anymore. And the stuff between the houses was always secondary to me. It's like, yeah, PS, PS doesn't watch me anymore. Oh, boo. Boo the lady. Yep, come by and see us, booth 29. She will have candy for cosplayers, because what she does is like she does all the if I could say, the photo documentary type stuff at the booth here. She has so much fun at these shows. It's like Elaine is like another teenager. Like, what's up with that, Beanie? Squirt gun is on at random times. You need to tell Beanie when you're on. just she's always like, Unky, it's like Unky Joe time on me. And be like 37 minutes early. Yep. That's because of consistency. And that's what I tell people about. If you ever do a podcast, if you ever do anything that is YouTube, video, audio, it's consistency. And once you hit that consistency, you cannot break it unless there is a very good reason and you tell people ahead of time. I believe that this is the only one show that I haven't taken a hiatus or missed an episode as of yet. Ever since I started from the desk of a small press publisher, I haven't missed the episode. And even when I had the strep throat or getting over the strep throat, I still came on for at least 30 minutes or so. Just to say, hey, we're here, this, that, this is what's going on. It's not a full show, but, I want to touch base because this is kind of like your show. It's not for me. It's really for you guys. This is your show. This is your interactive show and everything to that magnitude here. So every Monday, 3 p.m. Pacific, and Monday at 6 p.m. I know I'm just calculating because hour ahead, 2 hours behind. So yeah, that's about right, because that would have been 5. Yeah, Aaron would be at 5, so it would be 6 o'clock your time. B says, "Oh, Monday we can't watch Monday anything, Mr. AA Ron. We don't watch anything on Monday." Oh boy, she's a tough customer. She's a tough customer, Aaron. She very well is. But since we addressed the whole thing about YouTube claim sales, it's not like I wouldn't want to. It's just the time and effort and energy for books and the fact that it's not going to be that much of a variety, and then not having a following here large enough to justify it makes sense here. Well, I have a day. It's like where I had a day and need sleep, so I will bug you later. Peace out, and let me know if there's anything else C2E2 related that you need to know about here. As of right now, I'm looking forward to seeing how your book turns out, and I'm hoping that everything else gets there in time here. So that's my major concern here, Lane. So we'll talk more probably Thursday for Comic Book Spectrum. And yes, she's a panelist on Comic Book Spectrum, by the way. Yeah, she's going to be. Yeah, it's like now she's going to be like squirt show. So getting back to the topic at hand here. So we dealt with the YouTube. What grinds my gears about whatnot sellers and buyers. It seems like they complain about the most. I don't want to say stupid. I don't want to say asinine. Basic is not as descriptive as how I feel about it. It's just like complaints that makes you go like, if you don't like it, go somewhere else. For example, it was one person that I know. We're both on, as Parallax would say, Mile High Prices. Mile High Prices also have a WhatNot show, so we're on there. And said individual who I know was on there, and he was just buying up the store, just buying book after book after book after book after book after book after book. And then after he bought so many books, he comes back to them and says, "Hey, what's going on with shipping? Is there max shipping on this show?" And they was like, "No, there's not max shipping. And typically we have max shipping on there. And even if max shipping is not, you're still going to pay X, Y, and Z, and they calculate everything to the pound." So said individual kept complaining. It's like, I only bought 22 books and they charged me $31 of shipping. And the response was, it's like, well, don't blame us. Go talk to, WhatNot to find out why. And in my opinion, it's like, exactly why. You kept buying this stuff as if you was on somebody else's show that does, like, build a stack or something to that magnitude, where you're so used to getting 100 and something odd books for maybe like $15 worth of shipping. When you buy individual books like on their show, you're not going to get around that. That to me is more of like caveat emptor. Let the buyer beware. You put yourself in that situation. And for you to constantly complain at that point, and constantly complain and complain and complain and complain and complain, it's like I will buy. It's like, and then have the nerve to be like, I will buy more books, but I can't afford the shipping. You should have thought about that after you bought your fifth book or sixth book. Because by my calculations, like on average, you could probably buy, I would say, depending on where you're at in the United States or whatnot, anywhere between 3 to 4 individual books for about maybe like $9.75 shipping. And that's on any WhatNot show. So, I would say, just to be on the safe side, anywhere between $9 to $12. You could get anywhere between 3 to 4 books, sometimes maybe 5, before it resets itself, because it goes based upon weight. It does not go based upon number of books. So when we set the stuff for weights, and this is one of the things that people don't understand, buyers don't understand. When we have to deal with weight as a seller, we have to take in consideration of all the packing material. So if we use bubble wrap, if we use, Gemini mailers, if we use actual physical boxes and everything, We have to take all of that in consideration in packing, and we have to mark it off based upon the ounces. It's not a flat shipping fee. So you have to be mindful that if they do, when they do stuff like UPS priority ground or priority advantage, once you hit, I believe, 2 or 3 pounds, it resets. When you hit a level where you hit priority, I believe priority is like something about like 15, it resets. Unless the show itself, and I haven't figured it out as of yet, sets it up as max shipping at this rate, WhatNot controls all of that. Only thing that we're responsible for is what is the average weight if you just sent that one item and that one item only, and they calculate the rest. So for you to sit there and complain on a person's show about shipping, it's fruitless. It just really is fruitless because they don't control it. WhatNot does. And when they tell you WhatNot does, they literally are telling you the truth. The only thing that you might be able to complain about is like, well, and it doesn't tell you the shipping, because like I said, with I set my shipping for one book to somewhere between 12 to 15 ounces. Because I use bubble wrap, I use Gemini mailers, and a lot of times I put it in a polybag mailer. So you're just under that 1 pound mark in most cases. So I'm pretty accurate in that aspect. Now, other people may not be as accurate, but it's pretty much fair. It's pretty much fair game. Now, it is WhatNot's application. They're the ones that govern how it gets distributed. But it is what it is here. And it's like it tells you when it signs in. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, it actually literally tells you the shipping as you go along. After you buy that first item, it's like you see the first item, it's like, it's like the first item comes up, and so it'd be like the price that you bid plus, in the first case, I believe it's like $5.90 something cents or $5.70 something for that first item plus taxes. Because they always say shipping plus taxes. And then after that, after you buy that first one, if you bid again on something else, it drops it, that next item, to like 3 something or 2 something or $1 something plus taxes. And then after you hit a certain threshold, everything else is free shipping, because it's combining that shipping all together up to maybe like your 4th or 5th item. And then after that, it resets itself. And that's the thing that people don't get. It's like, it's not like we, the sellers, control that. That's something that WhatNot does. Your shipping was free on the 3rd book we got because it was free. No, you bought the first 2 items. So on that 3rd item, it was going to go to free shipping because it's combined shipping. So by the time you got that 3rd book, you hit that threshold where it's like, okay, all this stuff can be packed up together and it still falls up under this threshold. So that was free. That $5 off coupon just guaranteed that you didn't have to pay any taxes on that particular book. So it was literally $0 because I paid attention to that aspect of it, because I knew it was like at that 3rd point, you don't normally on your 3rd item or anything that you purchase on WhatNot, it's usually free shipping. So it's like the first one is like 5 something or 9 something, depending. If it's a slab, it's definitely like $9. The second one is like, for a slab, it's somewhere about like $5 to $6. And then after that no, I take that back. $9 for the first one, and then it goes to free. And then if you get a 3rd one, depending on the weight of it, it may reset or may not reset. But for regular comic books, that like a regular comic book, it might not, it may stay free into like your fourth or fifth item before it resets itself. And then, like I said, some sellers who get like all the extra bells and whistles, because again, there's different level of sellers that they have here. Some of your bigger sellers can set things like max shipping. And what max shipping would be is like, okay, if you send everything through priority mailboxes, such as, let me, is this, no, that's not the right type. Dang it. 1 second here. Like, for example, if you sell it's in things like through a priority flat mail medium box like this, you could set max shipping to the price of this box, and it will calculate everything, all what the person is buying up to the max weight for that priority shipping box. And then once you go over that threshold, it resets itself. No, it doesn't reset itself because it's at that max. Anything else that goes beyond the weight of this box for it to be shipped, it falls on the actual seller. But a lot of times when it comes to comics, not too many people go over this type of shipping box. Only a handful of people go over max shipping on some of the shows that I participate in or know about and everything to that magnitude. So complaining about shipping is fruitless. It really is. So yes, the shipping was free and the book was free because of the coupon. Yeah, that's correct. So if we would have gotten a fourth book, the shipping probably would have been free if you pay attention to the very bottom. It always tell you what the shipping on that book that you're bidding on is going to be before you even bid on it. So that's the key thing. Always pay attention to that here. So when this individual got complained about, I paid $37 in shipping for 22 books. It's like, yeah, that sounds about right. I'm going like, yeah, that sounds about right. And he's up here like, well, that just seems wrong. I shouldn't be paying that much for shipping. It's like, you're buying these things on individual items. You're not buying them in bulk. And then on top of that, the show was this, they probably didn't have the rights and privileges to set up for max shipping either. Not everybody has that right. And then they don't run what Aaron would say is a claim sale. It's not like you building a box or building a stack before it calculates to ship, before it goes to get calculated for overall price that you owe in shipping. When you buy individual auction items, you're paying shipping on each one of those auction items. So there is no complaining about $30-something in shipping. If you're going to complain about that, then you have to really think about, do I really need that book? Or is there anywhere else I could go to get that book where I can combine everything in bulk to do like a lot? Not everybody's going to do a lot. So that's something to think about here. Yeah, all together now. And that's the thing. It's not going to be all together, when you bid on auction items. That's the whole thing. It's like you bid on 10 different auction items. Guess what? You want to pay shipping on all 10. Now, so like I said, some of it does get discounted and some move to free because they actually pay attention to that here. Yep, Squirt builds little stacks, and that's the reason why claim sales work so well. Claim sales work well because once you build up that stack, you could estimate and guesstimate what that overall shipping is going to be. And to be quite honest, I believe most, if I'm correct here, the last time I checked priority mail shipping on stamps.com, you're paying anywhere between like $9 $9.80 something cents to somewhere between $9.80 to like $15. You know, you're not going to be overly upset about that. That's a good guesstimation on stacks on stacks that fits into the medium flat rate box. Now the other mailing boxes, like the longer ones for like the slabs and everything, that's automatic 15 to $20 shipping. Those are things that I know based upon stuff that I send out with stamps.com. But it gets to the point where you have to understand the WhatNot system more so than anything else here. And like I said, it's not about ranting, it's more about understanding how the process works. He says Superman. But those are the types of things that, like I said, it grinds my gears when a person who feels that I should not be paying that much for shipping on 22 items. I was like, you bought 22 auction items, dude. That's how this system works. Get over it. Which brings me to the second thing here. If you're going to bid on that many auction items, honor your bid. Don't, buy something and then come back with an excuse later on saying, oh, I wasn't aware that, shipping from where you're at over here to the UK was going to be like 50 something dollars. And I'm saying up here, it's like you knew that you was in the UK. You saw something at a great price and you failed to do your due diligence. It comes back down to whether or not I'm going to be nice or not to let you out of that bid. In most cases, I will. But also at the same time, if I let you out, I also block you. Because before time and ahead of time where you're located at, and you should know how WhatNot would submit your label to me to send it to them. That's not something that I control. That's not something that can be bartered. It's just one of those things that you have to know beforehand. And you should also know that WhatNot does warn you when you go into sellers that are overseas or not in where you're not in the same country. It warns you before you enter it in. It's like, import and custom fees may apply. So yeah, you messaging me after the fact does not let you out of everything. And so like, if you really wanted that $3 item that bad, where you're willing to pay $30 worth of shipping, then bid on it. If not, why are you bidding? Just because it was $3? It's just that to me does not make any sense here. WhatNot seems less personal, my friend. Not necessarily. It's I'm not certain if you have you ever been to like a literal auction where you have like an auctioneer and everything, and I mean it's the same thing. You still talk to the people just like how I'm talking to you right now. It's the same communication and everything. The only problem that is there is that me myself don't control their platform. And that's going to get me on one of the major things that I don't like about sellers here, but we're going to get to that in a little bit later here. But there is one of the first things that they told us in our orientation for WhatNot is that we are to make it personal. We are to to give that personal touch to our shows to make people feel more comfortable during the auction and everything. Now their mechanisms are not. And a lot of times we as sellers get holding the bag for a lot of things that whatnot should be improving their application and make it a little bit more friendly. Yeah, some people just have excuses for everything, but it's just like it is what it is. But if you come to me and do the cancellation for no apparent reason, or like the one person did off of one time with the one book, and I have verified that they were in a whole nother country. I was like, you should have known that. Here, I let you out of it. Agreed. Beanie says I'm cute. You're right. It's about due diligence, amigo. Yep. I have saw some great. That's like I saw some great movies. I wanted it all for one seller, but she was in. It was Canada based, and the shipping was like $12 to start for it. Yeah, it's not going to be easy because again, you have to worry about postal, customs, and anything that's dealing with import taxes. So it's whatnot did their job to cover their rear. It's just that it's going to be charged back to the buyer. Everything is going to be charged to the buyer. So that's one of the reasons why I always tell people it's like pay attention to what show that you're in. And even here in the United States, you have to pay attention to which state that seller is in, because for me to send something from here to where Aaron is at may not be the same price for somebody like Parallax to send to Aaron on that platform, because the postal service has different rates for different states. So it's weird. It is so weird, and like I said, unless you're doing that max shipping, people get so upset. They get so butthurt about it. And I'm just up here. It's like, if you don't like the shipping on it, don't buy it. Yep, it says the country. Yep. Yeah, it's like it's only less personal because people don't say anything unlike me. I never shut up. Yeah. That's one of the things that a lot of sailors hate about this platform. They will be out there, a lot of them will be either on screen or just adjacent to the screen where you know that they're there, but nobody in the chat is talking. And it kind of force. It's kind of like it's like Aaron. It's almost like your worst nightmare when it comes to doing online on YouTube. Imagine doing like your claim sale on YouTube and nobody talks, and you just showing book after 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 book, and nobody is talking. Nobody is really bidding. You don't know really what you're doing right or what you're doing wrong. It's just dead space. As a seller, you have to have thick enough skin to keep going and just not worry about it. And Parallax has seen, it's like I had shows where I made no sales, zero. You have to go on there and be like, okay, no sales this week. It is what it is. You can't get butthurt about those type of things. And trust me, I'm going to get into the sellers that I see out here that I just get so pissed off at, and I just leave. I just leave because I'm just ready to just say something not so savory. Yep. Tap 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 is tap tap tap. This thing is on. Yep. That's all you could do. Yeah, I would not like that. I like the interaction, and it's no guarantee for interaction on there. You get to see when somebody entered in the room. You could address them by their username and hope that they stay. But the one thing that I look at is when I'm on, it's like I see when they come in the room, but I know when they're staying because there's like a little indicator of how many people are actually staying in the room. So a lot of times you get all these people popping in. So but that number only increases if they stay for so many seconds to actually see something. Beanie never shuts up either. She's like her mother. Yeah, I'm purple and Beanie is green. It's the kind of like horror show now. Yeah, but those are the types of things. And now let me get into some of the things that really grinds my gears about WhatNot sellers. Stop overhyping your books. Number one, if somebody don't want to buy your book at an exorbitant price and you're doing it as a $1 auction, guess what? Stop doing the $1 auction. Put it at the price that you want for it and move on. Don't sit there and complain. It's like, oh, you getting a steal for this. It's like, no, they're not. If you want, if that book was $50 and you put it out there at a $1 auction and you barely get 15, that's on you. You could set your price for whatever product you want to sell there. That's on you. To sit up there and get mad and talk about how people are stealing from you and robbing you and this, that, and the other. No, stop doing that. Stop doing that. Like my $1 auction stuff, I'm going like, oh well, it'll be there for somebody else. And the thing about it is that I got to the point where I figured out that I'm losing more money doing $1 auctions than putting it at a fair price and putting it in to buy it now. And since I have more inventory in to buy it now, I'm seeing people buying from me when I don't have a live show. And that's the key thing. It's like you want people to constantly buy from you. Have a buy it now. Have your buy it now set up and working for you. Have those books there where even if you're not on a show, somebody could come to your profile, look at the books that you have, they can buy it right then and right there. And it's always nice to get that notification. It's like, oh, you have a new sale. And then you go in, you see, and it's like, okay, I got to pack up this book, send it off, send it off within the next 3 days. And here comes your money, 5 to 6 days later. That's a good feeling, as opposed to sitting there for hours at a time. Nobody's really talking to you. You just showing book after book after book after book, and nobody's buying nothing. All because I'd rather do something for $1 and hope that people buy it for $200. It's like, no, why don't you put it out there and buy it now? Set the price at, it's like if it's worth $200, if you could take it, take a small little hit, maybe put it at like 180 or 170. I bet you somebody buy it. They just have to find it. They just have to find you and find it here. Lil's is semi-quiet. She's watching and listening and saying a few things. Okay. And saying that's nice. And then, oh, you mean Chuck Norris and the Smoozer? No, I don't really mean them, because I'm not talking about people that's on Facebook, and we're talking about people on WhatNot, especially comic book sellers on WhatNot. Oh my goodness, it's very bad. It's very bad with them talking about, oh, you getting a steal, that book retails at this, or the last eBay listing says this, that the last soda says this. It's like, why are you, and I keep saying this about eBay sales, why are you putting so much credence in a one-off? Why aren't you doing the average sale on WhatNot for an issue? You could do that. It would require more effort on your part to do the math. I mean, that's the reason why we spend money on things like, GP analysis and Go Collect, because why? They track averages, not one sale, not two sales. They track averages of everything that they could pull in that is reporting into them to give you what is fair market value. Just because there's 2 listings or 3 listings or 5 listings out there to say the book is for $50 does not mean that the book fair market value is 50. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work that way. It never worked that way. And one of the reasons why, I will always rant about how, modern speculation, not speculation itself, modern speculation is, to me, kind of hurting this industry because people speculate on the most wrong things for potential on whether a book is going to go up in value or go down in value. The worst things. Y'all don't know your books. she's quoting other people now. I was like, I know books, but I just give 0 fucks about Alpha Flight. Exactly. It's like, don't get upset. They will get upset about, oh man, I'm taking like a $50 loss on that book. No, you're not. No, you're not. I know that you're not taking a $50 loss for that book because, again, if you're buying that book or a slab from somebody at 65 to 70% of fair market value, and then you come back and set the price at market value, you're making money nonetheless. You're making money. You're not making max profit, but you're making money off of it. So don't give us that excuse here. People like me do math. I went to an engineering school. I do math. I do math very well, but it is what it is here. Yeah, but how about when the seller feels a priority box? Do you like that? Well, here's the thing. Now we're getting off topic here a little bit, but I'm going to talk about that because that I know a actual seller on Facebook that does that. I don't mind having them to fill a priority box with extra books, but know your clientele, if I could say it that way. If I bought, let's say it's like you and me, Aaron. If I bought like 30 books for you, it does not quite fill a priority mailbox. And you come back and say, it's like, instead of using all of this extra bubble wrap, I'm going to toss in maybe like 20 more books in there. You already know what I like and what I would probably be into based upon what I have bought from you over the past couple of weeks. You throwing in those extra books for free will not be shunned upon at all. But I would be taking it more aback if it was stuff that was nothing in my wheelhouse or nothing that I really wanted. I appreciate the thought, and I'm not going to complain about it. But at the same time, I'm going to be like, or it's like, are these books really meant for me, or what? What's going on here? And that happens with this one Facebook seller. He's doing a great job as far as customer service is concerned, as far as making sure that people get their stuff, and he throws like a little bit more icing on the cake per se, but that icing on the cake kind of spoils the cake, if you get my drift here. It's almost like it's almost like if you're paid for, like, oh, I got me a strawberry cake coming with strawberry icing, and all of a sudden on top of that strawberry icing he put butterscotch on top of it. And you're going like, why is there butterscotch on top of this cake? It's supposed to be nothing but strawberry. I appreciate the extra, but I'm not a really big fan of butterscotch. That's the type of thing that kind of like grinds my gears a bit here. I like priority boxes. Yeah, the priority box is not the problem. It's just how they go about it. Yeah. Oh, he is? I did not know. Really? I did not know that. A little bit more, a little bit more. I would say 45 to 50. It'll be 45 to 50 depending on anything, because only reason I know that is because a flat rate priority box could hold close to 125 shrink wrapped printed books. So when you do bag and board not shrink wrapped, it would be about like 45 to 50. But if it's shrink wrapped, like for example, the stuff that I get for like my printing company for the books that we produce here, if they send me like books via priority mailboxes, it's usually anywhere between like 100 to 150 shrink wrapped. So you could get a pretty good decent amount of books depending on how you fill in the gaps between it. But with bags and boards is probably going to be somewhere between 45 to 50, like she was saying here. Yeah, and that's like know your client, clientele. Like don't give them like lay an alpha flight. Yeah, that would be the fastest way to have her to talk about you and never ever buy books from you again. It's like he's like, hey, I got my stuff, but why you give me all these alpha flights? Oh, I thought you appreciate all the extra alpha flights. I don't like alpha flight. Correct, sir. Yeah, it's licorice icing. No one wants to. Exactly. It's like my taste buds was all set for that strawberry cake, and you put licorice on top of that strawberry icing. It's like, no, you ruined it. Yeah, think of who I'm talking about. I'm trying to figure out. I don't want to call people names here. So I know exactly who you mean by smoozer. But Chuck Norris, I believe I know who you're talking about. I don't want to call names and be wrong. So, like I said, that's going to be something for outside of the show here. Yeah, some sellers just want to get rid of some books and they don't know what to do with it. Yeah, yeah. A good example is that I inherited a lot of Cerebus books. Am I a fan of Cerebus? No. Do I appreciate that I got them? Yes. The reason I appreciate that I got them because it's kind of like fodder for me to either sell on WhatNot a little bit later, or if I really take the time to sit back and read someone's, like maybe my opinion may change and I might decide to keep it. But right now, it's with the stuff that I have for my WhatNot sales. I have not put them on WhatNot as of yet because I haven't made up my mind what I'm going to do with them as of yet. But they're books that, like I said, I normally would not collect here. Doesn't necessarily mean I won't read them before I make up my decision, but it also means that it's just extra stuff that I have to worry about in the long run. Oh, okay. No, 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 no. No, no, no. I know. Since you mentioned said person, Mr. Norris is, how can I say? He's okay, but at the same time, he does that annoying thing that we talked about. Oh, you guys don't know your books and this, that, and the other. It's like, no, you got clientele that's more into the newer stuff, but your clientele that's into the older stuff, like the really older stuff, you kind of alienate and make them feel bad about not liking the newer stuff. And that's a problem. Then on top of that, like what happened on that show and a few other shows on WhatNot, it's infuriating. It's infuriating because another show that I know of has somebody has now have shows with this person that has an OnlyFans account helping to sell books. And I sit back and and I'm watching this and everything, and it's like I could appreciate if said person was into comics and could talk about them as well as just sit there and be pretty. But at the same time, it's like, okay, she gets kind of a pass because she's a cosplayer, but not in the same aspect as like would I see her at like a C2E2? Probably not. Probably not. It's not like the person that you just mentioned a few moments ago. Now she would be at comic book conventions and everything to that magnitude, and people come off to her all half baked and everything. And like I said, that one time, everybody in that one show wanted to beat the brakes off of that dude that said what they said because it was no justification. It was no justification, and you could tell, and you could tell that it messed with her head. As soon as it was said and read, it was like, what is wrong with you? What is very? It's like it's. And to be quite honest, in the other show here, I would say, and their initials on the other show is R and S. I hope that does not happen to said individual over there, because most people who are, if as I call them, spokespeople or salespeople, that's just there to really kind of like enhance the experience. Those are not easy positions to fill because you got ignorant people that comes out of the woodworks and be like, hey, she's pretty. I can get away with saying anything. No, dumbass. You can't get away with that. Right. Exactly. Exactly. With said person that you talked about, at least she knows a little something about the books that she does read. As far as general knowledge of everything, no. No. And as far as the other show that I'm talking about, that person probably knows less. I mean, she barely even speaks. She barely even speaks. She pretty much says thank you and nice pickup, and that's it. Or, oh wow, that's a nice pretty cover. But you never hear her talk about what she likes, what she dislikes, why this character is cool, while that character is cool, or anything to that magnitude. It's good to have a good foundation in comics if you're going to go that route. You know, cosplayers, they know a little something, something. I give them that. But when it gets to the point where if it's outside of your wheelhouse, like for example, the person that you brought up, if it's outside of Moon Knight or Harley Quinn or something that she knows about, it'll be hard pressed for her to say something to a degree outside of, hey, I just like this cover. I just like how they did this cover. Wouldn't have any clue as far as what's going on in the book, what the book is about, or anything to that magnitude. And the other show, good luck with that. I understand why they brought her in, but I just don't know what it is. But then again, well, I do know what it is. I do know what it is, and I'm not going to go. I'm not trying not to rant because it's messed up to rant about it. I mean, it's really messed up where people's opinion about this hobby is so limited that a good majority of people don't believe that the opposite sex read and enjoy and would know about it. And then the prettier you look, the more they go the more objectified route on how they would look at you being a member of this hobby. Yeah, I'm being politically correct about it because, like I said, I'm not trying to rant. And you'd be surprised of how many women who read comics know far more than a lot of their male counterparts and can remember the stuff a little bit more accurately. But yet, let them be pretty. And then everything goes out of whack. You don't see them as like your homeboy that's sitting next to you that you could pal around with it and talk about it. They don't get that same type of treatment. If they're pretty, it's like he. I'm going to buy a comic for you. And then a lot of times they project themselves that way. But when you project yourself in that aspect here, don't be surprised if somebody comes off half baked. And it's sad. It's very sad. It's very sad that people don't have the interpersonal relationships or interpersonal skills to understand this is not acceptable behavior. Or this is a sales tactic to get you to buy books. Beware. This individual does not like you in that way. They're just there to make you feel comfortable enough and confident enough to buy something. The end. That's all. But out of getting close to 30, 40 plus years of comic book collecting here, we haven't grown. Especially with those who sell that is of the opposite sex. For some reason, you still got some collectors that just are nimrodic imbeciles, for a lack of a better term. I'm not saying that everybody is, but there's just some that are just that way. And it makes me wonder if they have never ever talked to the opposite sex, had a decent, simple conversation with them about anything, let alone comics itself. And like I said, the prettier that they are, the more absurd and asinine it gets. And it is what it is. But it kind of drives me up the wall. But then again, I grew up, me being a Gen Xer, growing up in the beginnings. Well, I shouldn't say the beginnings, but the initial push for sex sales. You kind of become numb to it. And then when you see it, you either be like, don't they realize that this is all a ploy? That the salesperson doesn't really like them in that way. They're just trying to get the sale. But again, the younger generations don't get that. They don't see it. They don't understand it. It just opens up a big can of worms here. Should that be on, should people engage in that type of stuff on WhatNot to sell more books? Only thing I can say is to each their own. If it works for you, it works for you. But just be aware of the problems that come from it, and the problems that it's going to also cause those individuals who you may hire to engage in it. It's not worth it in the long run. It's not worth it in the long run. It's good if you could set up an environment where you have, somebody like that actually knows the books, and you could keep it on a level where you don't have to be overly obvious that you're trying to get that aspect of the sale. But the whole thing here is like, you always want to buy something from somebody that knows what they're talking about and then that you feel comfortable with. That's just pretty much the bottom line with anything. I think so too. I think so too. It has to be a generational thing because you know us Gen Xers, we were like the pilot group for something like that, and it's like yeah, when we were like 12, 13, 14, yeah, that's kind of like the thing that would be fresh on our minds. But once we got to like our mid 20s, it's like eh, we kind of grew out of it. We kind of grew out of it, but the later generations, they just don't see it. I just don't know. Yeah, it's better to engage the minds of others. I mean, yeah, talk about what you're there to actually buy. I mean, so what? So what if the woman is attractive? So what if the guy is attractive? That's not what they're trying to sell you on. They're trying to sell you a comic book. Talk about the comic book. They're not trying to date you. They're trying to give you what you asking for. So if you want, that issue of Amazing Spider-Man, let them tell you about the Amazing Spider-Man book, and decide to buy it one way or the other. That's pretty much it. Now, their attractivity may be one thing, but that's not the factor of whether or not you buy or not. But it kind of is what it is here. I'm tired of the overhyping my buy sell. Is tired about we don't know what we want and all this other stuff. Oh, the other thing on WhatNot that I hate, and I'm glad that they've been cracking down on this, but there's still people that still do it. Please, 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 please stop with mystery items or random pulls. Don't I'm so sick of these. Oh yeah, you could get this book over here through our mystery pull over here. It's like your name will be added into yada 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 for this type of drawing at the end of the day, but you have to buy from this mystery pull or this random pull thing here where it costs you $20, but the floor of it may be 5. I was like, it's like, unless I really, 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 really want this other book, why am I gambling for it? I mean, you have to have like a very, very big high dollar book to get a person like me to waste 20, 30, $40 on a mystery pull for something that I may not want. If I want that book, the only thing I have to say is like, hey, do you have an extra one that I'll buy it flat out? If you say no, guess what? I'm going somewhere else. There was a recent scandal where someone got caught live on their stream miscounting and keeping people from the bigger items before the end of the mystery pool. It scouted all outrage this last time where other people that had mystery pulls and random spins and all this other stuff, people were coming after them left and right. Talking about it's like, what happened over here? Are you going to do that? It's like, you shouldn't be doing this. It's against this, that, and the other, yada, 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 yada. You do want that one. Okay. Oh, she got fries. I could actually use some French fries right about now. I don't know. I don't know why, but it's like, I guess I could eat again, but that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there at this point. But those are the types of things. It's like, if you're going to do mystery pools, make sure that mystery pool will be of equal value of what we're paying into it in some form or some fashion. You don't want people to feel like they're getting gypped out of value, out of their money. And that was kind of like one of the things here. And like I said, side topic here. And I'm glad that said individual has complete transparency. And I applaud Brian Gordon from Bry's Comics. He did his Bry's pack kind of like how Whatnot did theirs. He did one, and yeah, he has some big high value books as chases. And when I say high value books, we're talking about things like Amazing Fantasy 15, Giant Size X-Men 1, Spider-Man 1, and a couple other books, plus a couple of $500 gift certificates to his store. And in his transparency, he pretty much says like this would be the first and only time that he does something like this because it's not worth it. The time wise, the effort, the accountability for all of that is just not worth the time and effort and the overall if I could say profit from it wasn't really there for him. But the major thing that he kept saying was that out of his transparency, it's like I made certain that each one of these packs at least gave you the $65 value that you paid into it. Now, if you feel that what you got in your pack is a dud, that's on you. But he made certain that you paid $65 for the pack. There's going to be at least $65 worth of book in that pack. Whether or not you get the books that you wanted in it, or win one of the bigger books that you could have won, it was going to be $65 in that pack. Now, do I agree or disagree that each pack was worth $65? That's neither here nor there. Only thing I know is that his packs were nothing but ratios that he paid Marvel himself to print up. Everything was transparent. Even for the fact that he had to print more than what he used for those packs and then have to destroy them. Just to make certain that the accountability for the rarity stays the way that it's supposed to. If there's going to be 250 in circulation and he printed out 2,000, he's destroyed 1,750 of those books. He showed all of that as a whole here. Is it worth the level of going through all of that? Hell no. But he did it, and he learned his lesson from it. And what hurt him the most was the people who complained about, oh, how come I didn't get a golden ticket? Or, oh, I bought 5 packs from you and they all were duds. And it's like, you took the gamble on trying to find a golden ticket. I did not cheat you out of anything. Those packs were of a value of $65, each and every last one of them. So you got equal dollar value for each pack that you paid here. Just for the simple fact that you didn't win one of the bigger prizes does not mean you get to come back and can complain. And I think that hurt him more, and it hurt his ego more, and it hurt his heart more than anything else, because he thought he was doing a good thing by, hey, in order to help sell these packs, let me have people try to chase one of these big grail books that were worth anywhere between $15,000 to $25,000. And he even showed in one of his videos of how he put in the golden tickets. It wasn't done willy-nilly. It was methodical. And every last one of those golden tickets were claimed except so far for one so far. So one haven't been discovered as of yet. So it is what it is here. Michelle does mystery boxes, right? And the numbers are shown. Each and every book has a sticker on it that with the corresponding number. Yes, but on this one WhatNot seller, he didn't do that. He literally miscounted. He literally miscounted on the live feed. People called him out on it. Instead of saying he made a mistake, he's like, no, I did that right. People went back and watched it. They actually went to WhatNot to show that he miscounted. and he ended up losing his WhatNot show over it. So that's a major difference here. And besides, Michelle's mystery boxes, even at $2 and $3, you're getting a. When have you ever participate in Michelle's mystery box and it's like, let's say for $5 and you didn't get a $5 book out of it? You didn't get like a $3 book or a $2 book or a $4 book. You spent $5 for a mystery pool, you got a $5 book out of that mystery pool. That's equal exchange. On WhatNot, they have mystery pools there. You spend $20 out of it, and you get maybe like three or four $3 books out of it. You lost money. They literally forced everything to gambling on there. And that's one of the reasons that soured me on mystery boxes from the very beginning. Because I'm like, unless it's something that I know that everything is just that way. Like, for example, if somebody did a pure solely Wonder Woman mystery box, I wouldn't have a problem pulling at $30 $30 a pull, as long as I know I'm getting getting Wonder Woman books out of it. Now, whether or not the Wonder Woman books that are in there are worth $30, that's a different thing. But at least I know every last one of them that is in there is a Wonder Woman book. Don't give me something that is like a no-name comic that you can't price or has a value less than what you pay into it. That's the major thing here. Yeah. Yeah, Leia Bryan's not fries. Yep. But she got fries. She got actual fries. She's inhabiting her spirit animal. Her chubby elf with the fries. But that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing in a nutshell. It's just like, sellers have a tendency to overvalue their books. And a lot of stuff that are out there, we know that, if you go to the right person's show, when they have like their $2 claim sale or $2 builder stacks, you can get a lot of those books that they're up here charging $15 and $20 for. May not be in the same condition, but you can still get them. It is what it is. It just the way that things are. And like I said, it's not me saying WhatNot is bad. It's just these are the things that you got to look for. As many times as I've been burnt, I have actually had some quite good successes here since becoming a seller. Yep, she's made fries in the oven. And for them, they're about to be it'd be like almost like a midnight snacking food because it's almost midnight there. See, she's trying to make them into steak fries instead of putting baking them over like a steak or a side of beef. She used the beef bouillon to give them the beef like flavor. Just like how you put like onion rings on top of a steak as it cooks, it changes the flavor and texture of it. But we're getting off topic. We're getting off topic with that here as a whole. But that's the major reason why I'm up here saying this is the type of stuff that really grinds my gears, because these types of sellers and these types of buyers make that platform suck. I mean, really, really suck. Because you have to deal with them. You have to deal with them. There's no way that you could get around it. But a lot of times, as long as you're not like overly popular or have a lot of stuff that is overly popular, you don't have to really deal with them too much. And a lot of people tend to only buy from shows that they're familiar with here. And since I'm not all that big as of yet there, I'm still in my growing phase, and since I don't do a show every week or every day, a lot of people still don't know about what I do and how I do, it's going to eventually, build over time here. So it's kind of like one of those things that I'm giving it maybe like another year and a half. And if things doesn't pick up, I'm probably going to be like, the platform isn't for us and everything. And it's not helping me sell, primetime Saturday night Amazonia or AWF here. It's not helping me really will down the extra stuff that I have in my collection. I could do without it. That's the way that I'm looking at it here. But yeah, I feel like I'm a trader more than a seller. Yeah, I mean, like I kind of put myself here. It's like I'm just helping other people fill up their collections. Like if you're a Wonder Woman collector, what books are you missing? And I literally have people who say, "Hey, do you have this? Yeah, I got it. This is what I'm going to charge you for it. Here it is, out there. Go ahead and buy it. I'll send it to you." Then I will literally do that on WhatNot shows. And Parallax has seen those shows when I primarily do nothing but Wonder Woman, or primarily do nothing but She-Hulk, or it's like I haven't got to the point where I could do all GI Joe because I'm not giving up a lot of my Marvel GI Joes and everything. I'm finally getting to the point where I know where my Avengers collection is at. I don't really have like a complete run of Avengers. I'm definitely not doing X-Men that way. Oh my goodness. People would be fighting me left and right over X-Men stuff. And then on top of that, everybody wants top of the line X-Men stuff. So as of right now, I know I got like 2 or 3 first Gambits. I came across those and got those categorized and everything. Are they in the best of condition? Nah. I think it was like my best one is somewhere between like an 8, 5, and 9. And I know people are like, I want my 9A. I can't have my 9A. It's like, look, if you wasn't there to buy it off the rack, and I do have some that are newsstand, you can't complain about what's available out there here. It is what it is. Again, I really don't feel like I have the audience here on YouTube to pull something like that off. Plus, there's extra accounting that has to go into play for that because I don't have the actual built-in tools. But I could try it, and it's not like I say I can't give it the college try. But right now, I'm just really hoping that things will pick up with WhatNot from that point. Yep. That's the thing. I don't buy collections. I don't buy other people's collections. As I fill in my own collections here with the titles that I want, I might run into like a place and be like, "Hey, do you have like Wonder Woman X, Y, and Z?" Yeah, I got that. Oh, by the way, I also have these other ones. I give you a good deal on it. It's like, well, what's the deal? If they tell me about it, I'll go ahead and buy it. And I would go ahead and sit on those extra issues, and then I would bring them to WhatNot to be like, okay, I got 6 of these. I'm keeping 3. So that means I got 3 more that I could either sell to you, possibly give away, or trade. I don't care how it goes because it's not, for me, it's not about the money aspect of it. It's about getting, finding them a home here. Just like the Cerebus books that I talked about. I could have sold that on a lot the very first day that I got it, but I didn't because I don't know too many people who love Cerebus. So I'm doing that, trying to find that needle in a haystack. It's like, hey, I know you like Cerebus. What issues of Cerebus are you missing? I got a stack over here, this, that, and the other. Yeah, I know X-Men sells. I know X-Men sells too much, too well. But I'm not going to give up all my extras in X-Men for people who are just into it just to turn around and, how can I put this, flip it. Perfect example. I think I still have it over here. I don't think I put it away as of yet. And it was from the new comic book pickups of the week too, because I bought some X-Men books. I just don't know what I did with it in this lot here. Shells, 2-in-1, Uncanny X-Men, Uncanny X-Men. Nope, it was before this type of stuff. So it's still back over here. And Parallax could back me up on this. And this is the best example I could put forward here. Flux. 2 X-Men there. Storm. Maybe it's with the last week's stuff. Yeah, it gotta be with last week's stuff here. Here it is. This is the perfect example that I can say. And Parallax can back me up on this. X-Men 191. And Parallax can vouch this 100%. She was there where I sold at least 2 copies of this. I gave one to Elaine. I just bought another one. And I'm still going to sell extra ones as I come across them. Because why? It's the first issue where Nimrod appears. And it was also the very first X-Men book that was ever given to me. It has a special place in my heart. So I come across these, on like $2 sales, $1 sales and stuff to that magnitude. I will scoop them up. It does not necessarily mean that I'm up here trying to make money off of 191. I just know that these are actual issues that people are going to look for. I know how well people love the X-Men and everything. And I could find a home for it. Now, this is probably my 30th one that I have came across within like the last 4 years. So that goes to show you why I get so upset about people talking about rarity and all this other stuff. It's like it's not that rare. It's not that rare. It's not that uncommon. And people want to charge exorbitant amounts of money for it. No, it's like you could get decent copies, anywhere between like a 7.5 to like a 9.8 of this book, because they're still pretty much out there about in the wild like that. If I really wanted to be a money grubbing pirate, I would not sell not one of them. But I try to find people who really want them and either give them to them or give them to them for the price that I literally pay for, like which is like $1 or $2 or $3. Some people might give me $5 for it. I'm not trying to price gouge, but the whole fact of the matter is, because of my love for this book, this one issue, I don't have a problem just giving them away. It's just, it is what it is. Yeah, X-Men sucks. I hate all the 9.8 only do bros. Yeah. My collection, my own collection. Yeah, my own collection. At least all of volume 1 I have. I have all volume 1. In most cases, a lot of the stuff from like 1980 to, well, I would say from like, I don't own, well, technically I don't own a giant size X-Men #1, but I do have a friend that bought one that claimed that they gave it to me, but I let him have it. But there's, I own every last X-Men in the actual this run of X-Men from 1963. I own a copy of every last issue of that. And sometimes I have them in triplicate and quintuplicate and stuff to that magnitude. Certain issues, but not every last issue. I know, like I said, for like this one, this is probably like my 20th one within like the last 5 years. But saying all that to say, it's like I'm not up here, hoarding this stuff. I'm trying to find homes or trying to introduce people into the stuff here. Yeah, the thing about slabs is that they seem more expensive than raw books. Yeah. Again, they're more expensive because they are preserved. It does not necessarily mean that it maintains its condition. So if you get a book graded at a 9.8, 20 years from now, it does not necessarily mean that that book is still a 9.8. What it means is that the book was technically certified by a professional grader at the time that they left their offices. It reached a 9.8 grade. Again, we don't know if the book has traveled, how often it has been mailed across country, how many different owners it had, how many shows it's been to, and all this other stuff. We don't know any of that type of stuff. Only thing that we know is that the last time that a professional grader looked at it, it was certified as a 9.8. And this is one of the reasons why people were getting into hissy fits over CGC with the whole thing about people replacing books and slabs and everything here, and why I was doing all those videos about maybe we got the whole process with CPR, crack, press, and resubmit wrong. Because if that was the case here, why aren't these grading companies doing it for themselves? They do have that little bit check mark to say that this is a resubmit, but why isn't it a service, a guaranteed service that they could charge, anywhere between $50 to $200 for a possibility to get a grade bump? Because there's no guarantee of a grade bump. There's no guarantee for that. A book that is damaged is a book that is damaged. There's certain types of damage that you can't get over one way or the other. But it is what it is here. Nimwad. Yeah. It's like I tell you my gaps in Uncanny X-Men run. Yeah, you could tell me that. You could tell me that, and I can see what I have and what I have and what I don't have. But the older stuff, I'm telling you that right now, I am not willing to give up extras. And when I say the older stuff, we're talking about in like the early 100s. I'm not willing to give up if I have extras of them, because I know I probably got like an extra copy of like issue 2, issue 6, issue 10, stuff like that. That I'm not willing to give up just as of yet. But stuff in like the later issues of it, like a lot of like if you're missing issues in like Fall of the Mutants and stuff like that, I could probably hook you up with some of that type of stuff. Certain keys I might not be able to, like I kind of refuse to do like first Gambit, first Jubilee, first Reavers and stuff like that. But it depends. But if you want like first Rachel Summers as Phoenix, I might be able to give you a couple of those. I think that's like $199 or something like that. But it really depends on what gaps you have. Yeah, being like slabbies. Yeah, preservation. Yep. She gave you a box of donuts. Yep. Oh, for 150 and up. So you're going from where Cyclops attempts to lead the team to present day. Most of the more modern stuff I could say from like issue 400 on, I won't have many duplicates of. But from like 150 to maybe like 300, I have to see which ones I actually have extras that I'm willing to give up. And if you happen to need a 191, just let me know, because like I said, I find these like all over the place. But that's like an example of what I was talking about as far as, people up here is like, oh, these are rare books. It's like, no, they're not. They're not rare. It's just harder to find. We don't, just because it doesn't come through your shop all that much does not mean that other people have if I could say, inventories of them. Give up those Neil Adams. Nimrod. Nimrod. Yep. Before there was Bastion, there was Nimrod. It just seems what it is here. But we have hit the 2 hour mark here. Unless you guys have anything else that you want to talk about as far as what grinds your gears about whatnot, we could pretty much call it a night here. Ooh, like ASM 300, not rare, but people hold on to them. They're not rare. They're not rare, and everybody's trying to chase that 9.8. The going price or the fair market value is inflated because all these different censuses and everything may not be as accurate. Is one of the biggest It was one of the biggest issues that has been graded across multiple grading companies, and is also one of the books that are, pretty much sold a lot. So if it's getting sold a lot, that means that the actual average will kind of tumble here. X-Men 191, I just made a connection. That's CGC. There's another 20,000 that was done by CBCS. Let's not even think about what could be at PGX and EGS and all these other grading places. So yeah, there's a lot more than what people are recognizing here. Yep. Well, it's still early where you're at, Aaron. It's still early. It's just turning 10 o'clock. And it's probably well, no, you're 2 hours. Yes, yeah. Probably no. It's turning 9 o'clock there. It's only 11 here. I'm thinking East Coast time for some reason. I know Parallax is in Sunday already. She's a day ahead of us. But it's only 9 o'clock there. It can't be that bad. But yeah, that book is nowhere near rare. Yeah, they didn't even print 30 copies of the latest Miss Marvel. Yep. Uh, but that's the whole thing here. It's like print runs back in the day is not compared to print runs of today. Whenever you have companies talking about them, if your book is not selling at least 25,000 units, it's on the groundwork of being canceled. There's something wrong, especially in a industry where at one time books were selling 100,000, 200,000 units a month. It is what it is. uh yeah, the Shooter era, and he was right. Jim Shooter was right. I still feel that he was right about one thing. If you want to read Wolverine, you go and pick up that X-Men book. He does not need his own book. If you want more Storm, go and pick up a X-Men book. If you want more Cap, go pick up Cap. And if you don't like Cap, then pick up the Avengers. Simple as that. Just because a character is popular does not necessarily grant them a key to the city for them to have their own book. Jim Shooter was right on that aspect here. If you don't sell 240,000 copies, then you're canceled forever. That even back then, that was still kind of harsh, but that's the truth here. And now, they, kind of scrambled for 25,000. Not necessarily more rare. It won't make raw books more rare, but it'll make raw. They try to make raw books more expensive because it's not going to be an apples to oranges comparison. And that's the problem with it. That's the problem with sellers. And again, let me go in this mini rant real quick here. One of the things that I hate about some sellers, they want to say near mint is near mint across the board, regardless of the fact here. That is not 100% true. What is near mint to you is not the same as a near mint to CBCS, CGC, EGS, PGX, and all the other grading companies here. Because if that was the case here, they would not have a business for certification, which can be used for insurance claims and stuff to that magnitude to verify condition. Now, the problem here is if a near mint 9.8 at CGC for let's pick on if we talk about Amazing Spider-Man 300, let's just say that the book is like $5,000. I believe it's somewhere about 1,500 to be quite honest here, but let's say it's $5,000. That comic book store owner who has it raw that feels that his book is near mint is going to try to get $5,000 for it, which is incorrect to do. This one has a certification. Your book does not. It's apples and oranges comparison. But what some store owners would do or some sellers would do is like near mint is near mint. So if that near mint is 5,000, my near mint should be also $5,000 too. It's like, well, put it to the test, send it in to get graded. What is the low investment value of $40 to $50 to prove that your book is at least a 9.8 compared to $5,000? $50 investment to guarantee that you get your $5,000. Is that worth it? Yeah. Does it make? And that's the reason why it seems like they makes the raw books more expensive, and it really shouldn't be, because the graded price has no bearing on raw. Raw books are subjective, and older sellers saying, well, grading is subjective too. It's like, yeah, it's subjective too, but you're not putting a certification to it. Your certification is not being accepted by insurance companies as gospel. You're pretty much putting your knowledge to the best of your ability in asserting that it's this way. Now, would some place like Allstate or State Farm will accept your grading? The first thing they're going to say is like, what is your grading certification? How do we know that what you say that book grade is 100% accurate? We don't. And that's the reason why raw prices seem to be creeping up and 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 up for no apparent reason, because it's subjectivity. Now, the good thing about raw books is that you can haggle over the price. You can haggle over the price of graded books, but there's a slippery slope with that. Because of the certification, there's a guarantee. There's a guarantee that book sale will be no less than what you set that bare minimum for as a seller. So you could get like me, if you set it for like $100, $200 below fair market, it's okay. $50 below fair market, that's not going to hurt the average all that much. But with a raw book, you could, be talked out of your shirt and pants for the value of a book, because it's just that subjective. And I believe that's one of the main reasons why, the whole thing about, especially for the older people that's in comics, that they really hate graded books. And I believe it's the real reason why they hate graded books, because the raw books cannot see its true potential value. Because the graded books will always be considered more expensive because of the certification that comes with it here. Power Pack, you only sold 102,000 books. The hell with you. Yeah, that's pretty much Jim Shooter after it's all said and done. But Power Pack at least went 80 something issues, 80 or 90 something issues. It wasn't like Greg Pak's Storm. Greg Pak's Storm, I believe, only went 11 issues because it didn't hit the 25,000 copy threshold, which tells you a lot about the reading habits of 2010 to 2015 to 2014, 2015, somewhere around then. The reading habits then versus the reading habits back in Shooter's Day. The reading habits back in Shooter's Day, people were reading. The reading habits now, people are not reading so much. Yeah, oh well, the 9.8 slab is is $5,000. Well, your book is raw, but it's not a 9.8. My ASM is a 9.0. Oh, I hate the slab. Oh, I'm gonna break it open and put it in Mylar then. Dumbasses. Yes, you have people that would do that. Because it's not a 9.8 and they got a 9.0, they will break open that case and put it in Mylar. At a 9.0, you probably could get somewhere about $2,000 or $3,000. By you taking it out of the case and putting it in Mylar, you guarantee that yourself that you're probably not even going to get that $2,000. But that's the difference here. Yeah, my point is this: when a raw book is over $100 in value, it gets slabbed to increase the value of it. Therefore, it makes it more makes the expensive raw book more rare. I wouldn't say rare. Getting a book graded does not make it rare. And I think that's where my disconnect is with that. What it does is solidifies the condition of it. So let's just say if you got a raw book over $100, let's say the value of the raw book is over $100, and it's over $100 at least let's say at a very fine, it's over $100. You go ahead and you get it slabbed, and it comes back at least a 9.0. That means that your book is actually greater than very fine, and you have increased your value of that book. It doesn't make it more rare, but you solidified the actual fair market value of that one copy. Not for all copies, just that one copy that you just got slabbed. So that's the way that I will look at it here. Power Girl 27 is over $100 raw. Which Power Girl 27? From volume 1? Yeah, which means that it's harder. Oh yeah, harder, more rare to find a copy than that it's not graded, because everyone will be buying it instantly to get it graded. Exactly. Now Parallax put in better English than I. Yeah, she put it in better English of what he was trying to say, because the way that he was saying it is that it was more rare. It's like it doesn't make it rare, but it makes the finding it in the wild harder. because everybody's going to be gunning for every last raw book there is of that. Perfect example, you know, trying to find a raw ASM 300 is hard because the majority of them are graded. At least the ones that we've seen a lot in circulation are graded. And then when you do find one in the wild, people will snap them up and then grade it to make it harder to find a raw one. And what's even worse about it is, what if we get to the point that every last one of them are graded? Nobody can read the original anymore unless you get it digitally. So, somebody scanned it digitally. So, yeah, I saw what you're saying, but the raw book is no longer raw with its slab. Yeah, it's still the same book. It's still the same book. It's still the same book. It doesn't take it out of circulation, but you can no longer read it. It's still there. And the thing is, what it does is just solidifies the value of that book. That's another thing. That's going to be another rant for a different day. How do you really put a value on a signature? A signature is a vanity thing. It does not really make a book more valuable. It just makes it more personable. It's a vanity thing. And then, whose signature is worth more than the others? But that's a rant for a different day. Because I get people up here. It's like, oh, you should get that sign. You should get Gal Gadot to sign one of your Wonder Woman #1s. Why? That's fanboying. That's kind of like getting into like that ultra fanboy type stuff. It's like her signature. She's not a part of the creative team or anything to that magnitude, so she doesn't really bring value to the book other than the fact that it's like, oh, Gal Gadot, play Wonder Woman and I have one book signed. That's a vanity thing. But it's still a vanity thing. It's a vanity. It's still a vanity thing, even though if she was physically on the cover. Just like what I was telling my other friend here, it's like, oh, Linda Carter's doing a signing. It's like, look, the best thing that I say is, like, if you're going to get a Wonder Woman book signed by Linda Carter, find a book that is Wonder Woman 77, because that's guaranteed that to look like her. She signs that, get Batman 66 meets Wonder Woman 77, or what I was showing Elaine here with the Wonder Woman 77 meets the Bionic Woman. Have her to sign one of those issues, and you kind of golden from there, because that way you matched up the character that she played to the comic book equivalent. And it is what it is. But it's, like I said, it's still a vanity thing. It's not something that I will bank my hat on 30 to 40 years down the line that people will want a copy of that with her signature on it. Yeah, it's a signed photo of her, so that's why it's great. And like I said, it makes sense. That book makes sense. That book kind of makes sense because it's her on. It's like literally her photo on the cover. It makes sense, but I'm still look at it 50 years from now. How many people would actually care to have Gal Gadot's signature on that book? Would they remember? Would they keep her in the same aspect? Just like with the Linda Carter thing, with a Wonder Woman 77 book. How many people are going to clamor for a Linda Carter signed Wonder Woman 77 book? It's just it's kind of like one of those things. Like I said, it's more of a vanity type purchase to say that I was able to get it. I have the actress that did that. Just like our friend Boulet. He's currently trying to sell a Star Trek 1 from DC that is signed by William Shatner. And on it, it has a specialized quote that says the earth is flat. It's a vanity book. And we all know that he played Captain Kirk, but as the generations goes on, the younger generations that comes after us are not going to care about who William Shatner is and may not be as big of fans of who he is like we are. I mean, it's a valid point about the vanity aspect of it. It's something cool for you to have to say, I have a connection to that actor or actress. But when it comes back to reselling it, only a fellow fan of said actor or actress will want to buy it at the higher price. But like I said, that's a rant for a different day. Yeah, getting signatures for people who truly love the comic being signed. Yeah, like Jim Willett, yeah. If he drew it, it makes sense because he was part of the production of it. To me, that would have more value, because without him doing like a cover, the book probably would have never been made. That makes a little bit more sense than having the actor or actress. Or used to be. Yep. Yeah, I've gotten a book signed that I love and appreciate the words by the writer or artist. Yeah, that makes sense. Mega vanity. Yep. Yeah, I would have rather had a photo of Shatner signed. Yeah. Or, well, his likeness was on the cover, but it was a drawn likeness. But it's still like I said, it's still a vanity type deal to have, because you're banking on the fact that there's going to be future generations that hold him in the same regards that we hold him. You're sending me pictures here. I'm up here trying to not have like a 3-hour session here, but we want to go ahead and take a look at said picture here. So bear with me for 1 second here. Yeah, this book actually makes sense. Now I'm about to show you what Parallax was talking about here. This book kind of makes sense to have signed by Gal Gadot because it's literally her on the cover. But like I said before, when it comes to the resale of it, you're going to have to find somebody that holds Gal Gadot in the same esteem as you do. I mean, it makes sense. That actually makes sense. Like, yeah. Yeah, I got the Neil Adams variant of Amazing Spider-Man where he played hockey for yeah. I always liked Neil Adams, so I had him to sign it. Yeah. See, that makes sense because again, Neil Adams played a role in the creation of the book here. Gal Gadot does not, but because of the Wonder Woman movie that they're promoting, it makes sense. This makes sense, just like how my friend wanted Linda Carter, and he was like, "Well, it's like let me get one of your Silver Age Wonder Woman," but it's like no. That's like your better bet is to go ahead and get like Wonder Woman 77 books and have her to sign that because that's her likeness on there. I believe they did something similar to like a painting of her on one of those covers. Oh, did you read the rumor about who they're getting to play Wonder Woman in the newer DCU movies? Did you hear the rumor of who they were thinking about, who they're thinking about tapping for Wonder Woman? And I hope that this is just bad information, some very very bad information. but I wouldn't put it past him. The actress that plays Mary Marvel in the Shazam movies, they actually showed her in what could be the Wonder Woman uniform for the newer gun movies. And I was like, not a bad pick, but she's not Wonder Woman. She made a good Mary Marvel, but she's not Wonder Woman. But Gunn and his choices, so it's like it is what it is. It's either going to be something that you can rock with or something that you don't. But even with that being said, we're almost at 2 hours 30 minutes. You know, I want Aaron to be able to enjoy the rest of his Saturday here. That gives me about 30 minutes to figure out if I'm going to make some popcorn and whatnot and try to watch some anime before I go to bed here. But hopefully this episode gives you a better understanding of some of the things not to complain about when it comes to whatnot, and just some of the things that to look out for as a whole here. Because that's the main concern. It's like I'm not up here trying to say whatnot is a bad place and this, that, and the other. It's like, no, watch out for these types of things and just make better purchases. Just make better purchases. And like I said, some of the things that I bought the show here, such as these two metal books that I kind of regret. Where did they come from? They came from Whatnot. So yeah, I make some unfortunate choices, but it happens. It happens. It happens a lot. And she said, if anything, you should get Wonder Woman 77 or like Wonder Woman 245 that was released when she was on the show. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She still thinks I'm a dude, bro, but I'm really not. If anything, if I'm anything close to a dude, bro, I'm a kind of like an educated dude, bro. I don't act in that full, ooh, I gotta have this type of stuff, dude, bro. It's just like it is what it is. But it's still, like I said, I don't knock people for getting celebrity signatures because the same friend that I told about what to do for the Wonder Woman situation, he has a Robert Downey Jr. signed Iron Man 1. So, to each their own. Wonder boobs. Yep. Yep. It's like I didn't understand that context. What, Wonder boobs? Not the original Iron Man 1. I believe it was more of their recent incarnation. I believe from like the early 2000s. It had his likeness on the cover. Yeah, the purple one. Yeah. Which context? Which context which context here? Ah, dude, bro. Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, it's like I try to give people good advice here. It's like if you're going to get something signed by the celebrity, at least try to find something that has the celebrity likeness up in it. And then that way it's like it doesn't feel kind of off. And that's the whole thing here. Like the dude bros who got ASM 129 signed by Bernthal is stupid. Again, I won't name names. I won't name names. But a certain person who I mentioned earlier had Bernthal sign some Punisher ones. But it's not his likeness, and it would have been great if it was later Punishers. But when you got like the limited series one and the ongoing series one signed by Bernthal. I was like, yeah, you're a fan. I get it. You're a fan, but at least get the ones that has his likeness on it signed first. Yeah, I would do the facsimile. Yep. Dolph Lundgren. That would be classic. That would be classic because a lot of people don't remember that he did the very first Punisher movie. Too bad Lou Gossett Jr. isn't around anymore. Yeah, those would have been great too. But anyway, it is time for us to say goodbye here. Next week, I'm not certain what's going to happen next week as far as the topic is concerned here, but we are 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks away, or 3 weeks, I should say, as of today, we're 3 weeks away from C2E2. So we're going to be kind of like on, print, waiting for a for our prints of our books to get here, at least the ones that we're going to be taking for C2E. Oops, excuse me. The ones that we're going to be taking to C2E2 with us here. So that's going to be there. Like Green Arrow signed by Steven. Yeah. Shoot. The actual Arrow book. There was an actual Arrow series. Those would be the ones that I would take to him, where they have his likeness. Yeah, take the Smallville ones because again, whenever you have books and they do like the comic book side of things where they have the actor's likeness, yeah, take those. Don't take a regular Superman book. Don't take like a Superman #1 to him and be like, here, sign this. It's like that to me is the definition of a dude, bro, in fandom. Yeah, don't get the John Byrne Man of Steel #1 to Tom Willis. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like ultimate dude, bro. It's like, yeah, we know that you play Superman, but at least get something that his likeness in because it's almost like you're getting like his if I could say 8x10 signed. His headshot 8x10 signed and everything. It's just the way that I look at it here. But on that note, have a good night, everybody. See you guys next week. Live life, grow, and be well. And we're out of here. And enjoy and Parallax, enjoy the rest of your Sunday here because it's like 30 minutes into Sunday here. For everybody else, enjoy the little bit of Saturday that's still left, unless you're out there on the West Coast like Aaron is. Then he got a lot of time out there. He got time to go out to the clubs and get a couple of drinks up in him and enjoy the nightlife here. Have a good one, and we are out for the week. See you next Saturday, unless you come in to visit us on Comic Book Spectrum.